Hi everyone, I am colouring today a JMaria Trolle picture. Now this is from, my book is called, I'm just trying to close it for you, Droom Reis. It's Vivi is Looking for a Friend is also a name of it, and this picture I purposely picked because it's also in her Universe book, which is her compilation book. So if you've got that one, you'll have it. And I'm going to do something a little bit different today to what I've done before in the video, and I'm going to colour with two brands of pencil. Now I don't normally do this because I know people get a little bit funny sometimes about mixing brands up, but I wanted to show you a technique that I sometimes use. I'm going to talk you through it as I colour. Let's get started. So I'm using Prismacolor first. Okay, so Prismacolor are the first pencil, but then I'm going to add in a different pencil later. I'm going to start with all the Prismacolor work first, and you could, this is the light aqua, and I'm just going to do the water. And I'm just going to do a layer with my Prismacolor like this. Now you could use Prismacolor for the whole page, for the second part as well if you want to. And of course you can use any brand of pencil for this. This is just a sort of light aqua colour. The plan is to use this softer pencil to do a sort of base coat, base layer, and then use a harder pencil to fill in some of the details. Now it's something that I do on a fair few pages, and I found it to be quite good, so I use my Polychromos for the details. But as I say, we're going to be doing all the Prisma work first, and I liken it to the technique. There is a technique where people use a base of alcohol markers and then pencil over the top. This is similar-ish in the sense that we're doing a base layer and doing some detailing on top, but I don't use markers. And although this particular book is mainly single-sided, there are a few pages that go across the double. It's a little bit strange, but you know, I would not. I get very scared. I've got a couple. I've played with a couple of alcohol markers. Happen to have like one or two, just you know, in my stash, and they're very scary in my opinion. I know some of you absolutely love them. On a single-sided book, I think they're okay. You know, I can see what people are doing with them. They play with them and get some fairly effective techniques, but I get scared because they go through the page. They could make a big mess. They're very permanent, you know, and that sort of thing. So I'm not a fan personally. I'm sure that if I played with them more, I use the word play, why not? This is our hobby. It's fun. If I play with them all, I'm sure I would become more confident and happier with them, but I haven't. Now that's quite messy. It's fine. It doesn't matter. This is my base layer. It's just helping me out so that I can get more depth of colour when I go in with my next lots of layers. So that is the light aqua, and now I'm going to do the lilies. So we want our lily pads. I tend to do them, I like them quite dark, but I don't want to start with a dark because I'm going to put other colour on top. So I'm going to start with a grass green. I'm just trying to find it. Oh no, it's alright. I've got my Verithins right next to my regular Prismas in this pencil case, so I have to be careful I pick the right one. We definitely want the Premier pencils, grass green, for this exercise. Now that bit there, I think that's a bit of leaf just there. It could not, it might not be. If you've got the oh, there's definitely a bit of green there. Hang on, light aqua, sorry, in there. If you're colouring in Universe rather than this, I think this picture's slightly chopped a bit. It's shrunk for sure, but I don't know whether it's cropped. Chopped is not quite the right word, so I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's near enough that you can colour along. Now I picked this because it's in both, and there aren't many that are of the books from pictures from this book in the in Universe, but a couple of them are really detailed, and I wasn't in the mood for a really detailed picture, so I thought I'd do this one. Oops, and go over the lines. No, and just show you and just show you this technique because it's a little bit different. And as I say, if you don't have the Prismas, you can just do a base layer with a other set of pencils. A soft set is good if you've got them, but if you haven't, then you can just use your Polychromos and you know, use your sort of cobalt green and a sort of what would I use for this, maybe emerald or a phthalo green, something like that, you know. Just, but it will take you a bit longer because you have to layer it up to get this sort of colour. The thing with the Prismas is because they're softer, I don't have to press quite so hard to get as much colour down on the page. That can be advantageous. Right, there we go. Now our water lilies, the centres I want a slightly orangey yellow. They're really small. I'm going to try with the Prisma, but I think they'll look... Oh, I could use this. I've got a Verithin here. I'm in the Spanish orange. I'm going to use that for these. But you could wait. If you don't have Verithin, just wait. And I think they would be... I think I've done this wrong. I think they'd be properly yellow. Never mind. Wait and use your Polychromos if you don't have this. And you could also do the more of a canary yellow, I think would have been better. I think I've done that a bit wrong, but never mind, it is what it is. Now the flowers themselves, quite pale. I haven't got a sharpener. I've got, oh I have. I think I'm just going to go for a deco pink. I was going to, and then I saw it looks like that. It's very small, isn't it? But I've actually got a Prismacolor sharpener in here, so I think I will just use it. Which one's the long tip? That one. It doesn't need to be massively sharp because we're just roughly putting some very pale pink on. Now water lilies come in yellow, a very pale I would say very pale lemon yellow colour, or I have seen them in more of a dark purples in pictures but never in real, so I don't know if it's just imagination or Photoshop or, you know. And white, but I find doing them in pink is easier than white. I have done some white flowers for you quite recently, but I don't want to do them today. This is a completely different thing. This isn't about learning how to do white flowers, which I was trying to do when I showed you how to do it in the video where I did them. That was the lemons video, the planner, Johanna Basford planner page. Right. That's quite pale. That's what I want. I don't want them too dark. Now, let's move up a little bit. We can come in a bit closer here, couldn't we? There we go. So now we've got a boat. We're going to do these bases of boat. I'm thinking brown, wood, but I don't want it too dark at this point. I could go in with a bit of a beige. What do you reckon? Peach beige, or I could go beige sienna actually. Where's that? I don't know where it is in my pencils. Is that it there? Yeah. So I'm going to use this beige sienna. It's a little bit pinkish, but it won't matter. Or maybe it's not. So I'm not worrying about the fact that that's inside. It should be darker. We're just getting a layer down. I don't really know if the rudder should be the same colour as the rest of the boat either, but you know. Now that's the stem of the leaf, so let's not colour that in yet. Just go around our boat like that, and I think we'll do the mast. Now I will probably do the mast in a different colour to the boat base, but at the moment that works out as a base colour. It's fine. Now the leaf, I'm going to do this in a different green to our lilies, a sort of mid green. I'm thinking the apple green might work quite well. the apple green is getting short. I've got a lot of very short Prismas. They run out quickly, don't they? Because they're soft. But if you use them like this, you don't need to sharpen them too much. So that helps, really. There we go. So all over, not worrying about the pattern on the leaf, whether there be any shadow, just going all over it like this. There we go. Now we've got our lilies. Let's just come down, or our trying to move my book over. Hang on a minute. Let's move my pencil out of the way. There we go. Now we've got the leaf, and we've got these. They're bulrushes, aren't they? But these are yellow flags, I think, or irises. I think the yellow is quite a good colour for them. I see them by the canal. But I'm just having a look to think that this plant, these two need to be kept separate to the bulrushes, I think, so that the leaves are a different colour. So I might just do those now. I'm going to grab, I'm going to grab the Kelly green, I think, if I can find it. Where are you? Oh, bear with me. I have just reorganised my pencil case, so I don't know where anything is. That's the Prussian green. Actually, I might use the Prussian green for the others, but where's the Kelly green? That's the olive, grass, peacock. Oh, it's probably amongst here. Celadon. There it is. Got it. Sorry. Right. So here's our Kelly green, and we'll do that for the flower stems. So, and leaves. So here. Like that. And the leaves. There's only a couple of leaves on these. So we've got a sort of base. Now, doing this base, I find, helps me to sort of define what areas I'm doing. It gives me a base of colour to work with when I go in with my details. And because the Prismacolors are so soft and quick, then it doesn't take particularly long. So that is why I find it quite a good method. Now I'm just following these leaves, try and find out where they are going here. So if, but is that one? This is one here. It must be. Where else is it coming from? There's nothing wrong with using a pen if you'd rather, but you'd have to have an awful lot of hoo-hoo Copics or whatever they are to see that leaf isn't, look, because it's, can you see these are striped and these are dotty? So should I be doing all the striped greens this colour and all the dotty ones like, yeah, yeah, we'll do that. So that tip there shouldn't be this colour, so I'm just going to grab my eraser. Just going to take that bit away. We might come back and do it even darker, so it might not matter, but I just want to sort of remind myself what I'm doing. So there's a striped leaf here, can you see here? But it doesn't go all the way across. Yeah, so the markers, you know, you could use them. As I say, this book is single-sided, but you'd have to have the right sort of colours, and I don't know how big a collection people have. I would be quite scared to have a huge collection of alcohol. Do they not dry out, you know, if you don't use them more quickly? I don't know. Maybe they don't dry out like water-based markers. I don't think water-based markers are quite as good. I've tried them as a background for something, you know, as a base colour, and I couldn't get a nice even colour to them. So I got those little lines like you get. I'll show you actually with this pencil. So if you colour like this, and then you overlap like that, and then you overlap again like that, you can't see it. But when you did that in pen, you get a dark mark where it's overlapping, and that looks quite nasty. And when you're using water-based markers, you get that all the time. With a alcohol marker, you can avoid that if you colour quickly. It doesn't make those lines, so you can get a much smoother finish, which is why they can be really nice for any sort of colouring really compared to a water-based marker, but they are so expensive. There's a lot more stripy ones than I thought. So so yes, that's the sort of difference. And actually I was on Reddit the other day, and someone had shared a picture, and they'd coloured part of it in alcohol markers and part of it in water-based markers because people weren't sure of the difference, and it was just very striking, very interesting. You could really see the liney marks from the water-based markers and the alcohol markers. There was none. But you do have to work fast. If you let it dry and then go back over it, then you get a sort of extra dark area. So you have to move quickly. And also, I don't want that kind of having to move quickly thing going on. You know, I'm colouring away and then I need to chat to... Oh, my phone's ringing. Someone grabs my attention or whatever. I'm just going to stop and see who it is. It was just a spam call. Anyway. Oh, I've just noticed a bit of mask there. I'm just going to grab my beige sienna. Just colour that in there. There we go. So yes, I think I would find the stress of having to colour it quickly before it dried. And as I say, I tend to do a bit of colouring, and I might talk to someone. I might go and have a quick look online at something that's happening. I don't know. Whatever it might be. And then come back to a bit more colouring, and you know, I don't want to have to be rushing along. I mean, I feel like I am actually rushing along a bit today. I've got quite a bit of adrenaline today. But I am just trying to show you this quite quickly, I guess. You know, when we do the detailing, it'll take longer. This is the sort of base, as I said, about 1 billion times. Oh, it's Saturday today. I did a very quick clean. My boys will be helping me next week, because next week my one boy's got exams and my other boy's got his essay due in, so they won't have anything to do next weekend. They'll be helping me. So I thought I'd do it really quick, and then they can help me next week. Now these other leaves, I want to do them quite a different colour so that we can easily distinguish between them, because I found that quite hard to work out which was which. So I'm going to go dark, I think. We could go dark green. I'm just looking at my swatch chart. I also am trying to remember what colour. I think I could go moss green. I was just trying to remember what colour bulrushes are, and I think they're quite brownish. This is quite a new one. Look, it's still got its original sort of point, and you can see because it's brownish, it looks very different to the other leaves, so we can easily spot which is which. So there's another advantage of this little exercise, is that we're almost just marking out which is which, what colour goes where, all that sort of thing. Yeah, I got a few new Prismas. I can't remember when, and then I didn't use them for a while, so they've been... Now I think that bit is usually a bit brown, so I might do that in a bronze or something. I suspect some people probably colour this fast and would just colour this bit and then leave it, and then they'd be happy with that, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I want to put a bit of detailing in. So and then this is the advantage of Prismas, the speed that you can get a decent amount of colour down on the page. And for me, anyway, I think it's great. Backgrounds are really quick and easy. Ooh, but the disadvantage for me is the sharpening. If you want to do a detailed area, you need to sharpen it so much. And also the availability in the UK is quite tricky. I did have someone comment once on one of my videos, I think it was, saying, why don't you use Prismas all the time? That's what everyone uses. It's like, well, actually, in the UK, they're really expensive. They're really hard to get. You cannot buy them in any high street shop. They do not stock them anywhere. If you go to an art shop, if you go to Hobbycraft, if you go to places like that, they always have Derwent, because Derwent are British, and Hobbycraft has Polychromos, and my local art shop has Polychromos and Caran d'Ache, I think they have Inkten, maybe they don't. I'm trying to think now what it is they have. My pencil's getting a bit blunt. But nobody that I am aware of at all anywhere. Oh, another art shop near me does Holbein in open stock, and they do Polychromos as well. They're a dangerous shop to go to. I'm going to sharpen this. But I'm just going to do it on the little one, I think, and it will be another short lead. I realise I've missed one out on the other side, I've just noticed, over here. So yes, but no Prisma anywhere. So if we want to buy a Prisma, we have to go to the coloured pencil shop online. There are a few other online, well, I'm sure there's more than a few. There's one other online seller that I know of, or have heard of, that sells them. And also Amazon, yeah, which is where I got my original set from. No, I didn't, that's a lie. I got it from Colour Pencil Shop because I was really worried about fakes, because I'd heard that there were so many Prisma fakes and people were all saying they had fakes because they broke so easily and all this sort of stuff. And then I watched Sarah Rennie Clark's video about Prismas, and she basically said they're not fake, they're just rubbish. In the sense that they break a lot. That's what Prismas do, and it doesn't mean they're fake at all. Now I'm going to do a dark brown for these things. What are they even called? Are they just called bulrushes, or are they called something else? I don't know. I can't remember. There is a name. Anyway, again, just putting down some colour. Now I haven't gone with the darkest brown because I want the I want to be able to go darker. Yes, so Sarah Rennie Clark did a video where she looked at Prismacolors, and she actually managed to buy a fake or find a fake, but she struggled to find it. There really aren't fakes, you know. But it's interesting. But there are copies, like Artex pencils are a copy of Prismacolor. They are softish. They have similar names, similar colours, that sort of thing. But they aren't the same. You can tell. Anyone who knows how to use Prismas would immediately go, no, you know. But they're a bit cheaper, so, you know, it depends what you can afford. Sometimes we don't have choice. We have to go a little bit cheaper. Right, our top of our bulrushes, I'm thinking a light brown. I'm going to go for this, the light umber. Let's come down a little bit so you can see. Luckily this is quite sharp. Now I am wondering whether to do these florals in a brighter colour than yellow, because I'm looking at our page. The pink is going to stand out more once I finish. It's going to be a lot brighter, but we have a lot of dull colour here, you know. It's not bright and pretty. I'm going to do the body of our dragonfly next. This is my only bugbear with Maria Trolle. It's 50% cool grey. Is that her insects don't look particularly realistic. Their eyes on this guy look a bit too human, if you know what I mean. And her and this little guy here, he looks a bit humanish. Whereas all her plants are beautiful and really well drawn, and then her insects, like these butterflies, they sort of have it. I don't know. It just don't look very realistic. And you know, I know it's not necessary to go realistic, but I'm going to leave the wings. I had been asked actually how to colour see-through fairy wings. I'm going to show you how to do it on this insect. So I'm going to grab this moss green, which is the colour of these. I'm going to colour it there and here, because I've gone over it a bit. And here. So basically we can see through the wing and see the plant. And we're going to do the other one. It's some Kelly green, isn't it? And so you have to be able to draw a little bit to be able to sort of guess where the flower ends, the plant ends and begins. But when it's something like this, it's reasonably straightforward. When it's when there's too much of a complicated thing going on behind, then I think that needs to go to there. It's quite difficult. So now you can see we're looking through the wings at the background. I'm going to do more with that later. The flowers, as I say, I'm thinking, do we do them purple, like purple and pink? I think I will. We'll do a little bit of, what am I thinking? Oops, I was going to do that. What was I going to use that Prussian green for? I kept it out. No idea. Let's put it back. Don't know what my brain was thinking. Right. Often don't. So I'm trying to think what colour, how to do these if we're doing them pinky purple. I'm looking at my colours as well. What should we use? We could use the violet. That would be really pretty. Where is it? Here it is. Oh, I've got 3 violets. It's very confusing. A shortish one. Here it is. I use the short one first. And a longer one. And very thin. Lots of them. Now I'm also thinking about the background here. Is it sky? Or are we looking into more rushes? I've got a hair on there, it's annoying me. Just pull that off. There we go. You know, is it blue sky? Are we in the sort of spring summery picture? I'm not sure. So having a little think about that while I colour these in. Now here I just went over the edge onto my paper that I've got underneath. I find that quite a useful thing to be able to do, and then you know you've gone all the way to the edge, but you're not ruining your picture underneath. Right. Nearly there. And then we will do one word slowly at a time. No, we'll do the background. Now we've got a lot of dots going on here. We've got a little house here too. I'm thinking this house needs to be camouflaged into the reeds, but we could do it a slightly lighter colour. With our browns, going the wrong way. We could do it in the chocolate brown, slightly lighter. Whoop! I just nearly drop it on the floor. If it doesn't look right, we can always sort of put some more polychromos on there and get it looking better. But I think that's going to work quite well. Now our little friend down there too. So there's that. do the window edges too, and the edge of the door, like that. I think I want to do the chimney too. Something peeping. Anyway, now where? Windows. I'm going to keep them quite dull. I'm going to use the sand. Door. I'm thinking, would they camouflage it? Let's use that Prussian green. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's too small for you to see. Now, my little critter, I'm just going to do him, and then, again, turning my pencil case the wrong way, I'm going to do him in the sandbar brown, because it's a different type of brown. It's more greyish brown. It's almost at least French grey. There he is. And then our background. We could do like a sunset, because it's so, the picture is so bland at the moment colour wise. That's my fault, but I think if we do like these dots like a sunrise or set, it'll look nice. So let's start with the red. This one, I think, poppy red, and we can just put a bit down here. Now it doesn't need to be too dark, because we'll add other colours on top. I just want it to be all around the same-ish level. So on top of that, I think that's a dryer. Very strange noise though. I can hear it still going though. It's most odd. Oh well. Right, now we're going to go for a sort of more orange. Now I want a reddish orange. Let me see. I think the pale vermilion will work. There it is. And what I'm going to do with this is go over all of the red colour that I've done already. Oops, and then just extend it up the page a little bit. Now normally when I colour a sky, I would colour it in a horizontal direction, because I think it looks better. If you can see any streaks in your colour, horizontal streaks look better for a sky. They look more realistic. Up and down streaks can look like rain. It could be raining. But so you don't normally see a sunset when it's raining. But because of the size of all these little gaps that I'm trying to get into, it's easier to do it this way. And I'm hoping it'll just work. So we're extending this colour up. And then where shall we go next? I think the orange. The orange is quite bright, but I think it'll work once we've got some yellows on top of it. So again, I'm going back over what I've done. This sky is likely to not change with when I grab my polychromos. This is likely to just stay like this. Because I'm hoping that I'll build it up enough for it to just work. As I say, Prismas are quite nice for backgrounds because they're soft and smooth and quick and intense. So you can, we need to come up here. Look, I'm just trying to get it roughly the same height all the way along. A bit here, a bit here. We're going to have to remember to go behind those wings. Right, sorry, I was pondering then. Next colour. I think, what's this colour? Yes, the yellowed orange, again, over everything. Should actually make it all look rather nice. This is a very pretty colour. And I'm actually thinking I'm going to go a little bit darker with this one, so that maybe it'll be my final colour along this lower part, and then I'll just pop some yellow into this higher bit. And then we might be done. Oh, I've missed a bit there. I'm just going to do it in this colour and hope that it looks okay. I am thinking that because we've got this going on in the sky, water reflections will be in this sort of colour, and you know, but the lilies would reflect, and the green grassy leaves would all reflect in the water as well, and I just don't think I'm going to attempt to worry about that really. I think we'll just keep it in the sky, but we'll see how it all goes later. Little friend there. Now when you're leaning on top of Prismacolors, which is what I'm doing now, you know, as I come across, some people like to use a bit of paper under their hand because it can be a bit smudgy. It's up to you. I tend to not. I'm a bit lazy, and I also find it a bit annoying, so I don't tend to do it, but you know, you might prefer it. I do it when I use soft pastels, but not so much when I'm just doing these. There we go. Now before we finish these Prismacolors, we are going to do a little bit on the wings of our dragonfly as well. I'm just going to show you. I can't work out if it's supposed to be orange or purple. Don't know. It's a bit messy. Right, oh, come to the end. It's quite tricky doing down into the spine. Do your best, but don't break the book. I'm trying to sort of hold it open enough without straining it, because I don't want to break the spine. Right, let's go up. Right, ooh. To turn my pencil outside. I always find it so hard colouring in the spine. It always looks messy to me. Right, I'm just looking at what I've done and just tidying up a few bits, and then there we go. These areas down here don't look very done. But then we're going to use probably our final colour, I'm guessing. So that's the yellowed orange. Where are we going to go? Spanish orange. No, that's sunburst yellow. What's that look like? Oh yeah, that'll do. They're really similar. So I'm just going to use this everywhere, I think. I know I said I was going to make that other one the final layer in most areas, but I'm not. Decided I'm just going to go over everywhere. I'm going off the edge of the page here onto my piece of paper that I've put underneath, so it's all good. Now when you're doing the top, be careful. Don't go up and down like I am here. Go like this, or else when you come back you'll make a mess of your paper. I'm sure you know that anyway, but just in case. There we go. So this is, I'm hoping, going to be my final layer, so I'm trying to make sure that it's reasonably neat. but I can always put another layer of sort of canary yellow or something on top, or just another layer of this if I think it needs it. But I'm just sort of hoping it won't really. But it's just trying to make sure I remember to do all. I think I might do all these lower areas now and then come back and do the top after, because the top's really obvious what I've missed and what I haven't. Down here at the bottom I think I might forget where I'm at if I don't just fill in all these little sections first. So I'm just going to go across and do them all. It's looking really bright in the camera. It certainly doesn't look dull anymore, which is good. I'm hoping once we brighten our colours by layering up a bit more, that will help us as well. Yeah, I'm sticking down to the bottom at the minute. And then working up a little bit higher. I think that's going to be purple, that bit there. I shall leave that. Get some other colours in there in a bit. Now, if you are satisfied with the Prismacolor, you could not do the Polychromos stage at all. You could just leave it with your Prismacolor. If you've made it neat, or you can neaten it up and layer it up a bit more if you want to, you could just leave it here. But I'm not intending on doing that. I want to put in some details, some shadows, whatever takes my fancy really, and just show you this sort of technique really. But we've just got to get this bit finished first. I do like colouring a sunset or sunrise. I've looked up the difference. Now, someone said to me, oh, it's red at the bottom with one and red at the top with the other. I'm not sure whether that's always the case. This bit I've missed, haven't I? But when I looked it up myself, it said that you can tell in a photograph the difference, because the sunrise is quite hazy. The early morning sun is hazy, whereas later in the day it isn't. So that's a way you can tell the difference. There was no sort of the sun, colour of the sun or anything like that. So I'm not sure. But I looked out, it was yesterday morning, we had a really pretty red sunrise. The clouds were all red. It was lovely. Freezing cold, but lovely. It had been a very cold night. I think it was -4 last night. Whew. But I've got my warm cardigan out of the wash, so I'm feeling a lot warmer today. This also was a bit sunny. I don't know if it's... I'm looking at my neighbour's roof. It's really weird, because there's some of the ice is melted off the roof and some of it hasn't. But it seems to be some individual tiles haven't melted and others have. And I wonder why. Why is that whole tile there completely iced up, all 3 in a row there, and all the rest are clear? It just doesn't seem to make any logical sense. But anyway, I don't know much about ice and melting and things. On the top of our car, we had one little patch that had melted. It was really weird. But my husband explained it to me. I'm just sharpening my pencil. He said that it's because there's a light there. When he was defrosting the car, he had the door open a little bit, and so the light was on, so the heat from the light must have defrosted the ice on the roof of the car just above that area. I was also talking to my neighbour about how cold our houses are. He was saying how he's considering putting some insulation in the floor above his intake or garage, because he thinks a lot of cold comes in from there. He's got a good point. I haven't thought about that before. Most of our garage is now converted into a kitchen, so there isn't cold coming up from there, but we still have a little bit of garage but also we have a cold spot further along as well. Yeah, I'm going to do that as purple down there. So there's a few cold patches that need sorting out really, and we just need to figure out exactly where they all are and then sort of figure out how to block them up. I was looking at insulation. You can get internal and external wall insulation, but the external stuff we can't have because our house is protected. Well, I think our neighbours, would have to get planning, and I think our neighbours wouldn't want it. Also, we're in a terrace, so if our house looked different to everyone else, that would just look very odd. But you can put it internally, but you have to get a special vapour area to make sure that I'm going to go across, which is a bit naughty, but it's a bit easier just for that last bit. Yeah, the vapour break or something it's called, to stop condensation. But it sounded a bit dodgy to me, that, you know, there was a risk that it might not work properly. Right, we're almost done. I am going to grab my canary yellow. I think this is it. Yeah. And just do a little bit at the top where it's a bit scruffy, just to fill in a few of the gaps. I'm just basically going to run it along like this. But anyway, we're thinking about it. I had said to my husband that maybe we should move, not immediately, but because there's a possible flood risk in this area eventually with climate change and everything, and it's really difficult to get insurance because of that risk. We manage, but it's hard. There's only a few companies that will lend to us. You have to pay quite a lot because it's because of the risk. It's so expensive. We do have in this country something called Flood Re, which is it's a group of insurance companies that have come together to promise that they will insure houses that are in flood risk areas, and that we use them, but it's still quite expensive. Some people sort of quote me £2,000 a year for insurance, but I think the one I've got is about 400, so it's a bit better. I'm just tidying up with this pencil, checking there aren't any obvious gaps or messy bits, you know, even further down like there. There we go. Now I think I'm going to leave that there for now, so I will come out with, I've been talking for far too long, and what we're going to do is I'm going to just hold that up so the page doesn't flip, you can see it. I'm going to take that out for a minute actually so you can see it without that, because it looks a bit nasty. So I'm going to come back, grab my Polychromos and do some detailing. As I said before, you can do this detailing with your Prismacolors if you don't have the Polychromos, but I just find it easier to have a pencil that I can sharpen to a fine point. And what that will do was help to define all this, which is a sort of blurry grey, sort of browny greeny colour. I'm hoping we can perk it up, make it look more interesting, make it look more defined with our other pencils. So for today that is me, but come back for the next instalment. Hopefully you will enjoy it and benefit, but for now thank you so much for watching and happy colouring.